All right, and welcome to Week 13 of Walk the Plank, the Perry Athletic Department podcast that takes a deep dive into all that is Perry Athletics. Appreciate you joining us today. Continue to, hopefully you're following us now. Add us to all of your likes and all the things on YouTube and different ways to view the pod. We hope you'll continue to join us each and every week as we talk to our student athletes, our athletes of the week, which we'll introduce here shortly. But I'm joined by, as always, my co-host here, Gene Winters. Welcome, Gene.
Yeah, thanks again. Another exciting week, nail biter on the football side, and we're slowly getting into those winter sports that are just around the corner.
Yeah, definitely nail biter last week. To my right is Colt Christinger. We'll talk to him shortly. We have Vince Tomasic from our football team as well that'll be joining us. And just talk a little bit about that game and what we're leading into with Streetsboro this week. But it probably shocked a lot of eyes when the final was 3-0 and we scored 3 points about halfway through the first quarter, and then it was a shutout on both sides of the ball. So, bottom line is we survived, we advanced, and that's the most important thing, and bring on Streetsboro this week.
Yeah, and those are the kind of games you don't want to have at this point, but maybe those are you get your refocus, re-wake you up to finish out the rest of this run.
I believe that's probably what our coaches have talked a lot about this week. And, we did enough to win the game. Everything didn't go exactly the way we wanted to, especially offensively, turning the ball over 4 or 5 times inside the red zone. But end of the day, the Pirates move on, and we'll see what Streetsboro has in store. We play at Berkshire High School this Friday night. Hopefully this pod will drop sometime Thursday evening, so about 24 hours before the game, over at Berkshire's Great Lake Cheese Stadium, I believe is the official name. So a very nice venue, about 3 years old, and looking forward to see what happens tomorrow night.
Yeah, it should be another fun one as you keep just knocking off team after team to get back to where they were last year and see if you can get the repeat done.
Yeah, definitely. And you mentioned those winter sports. We'll dive into those a little bit toward the end of the show. But let's talk last week. Let's move on. We couldn't have one of our athletes of the week here without. We wouldn't have won the game without this guy next to me here. He had his first career field goal Friday night. 26 yards, I believe, is the official distance. Colt, how did you, I guess, approach that? A little bit longer than an extra point. How do you mentally approach it when the coach calls your number and says, all right, we're kicking a field goal for the first time this year, and you're a freshman, and it's a big game? How did it feel?
I wasn't completely ready. I was pretty shocked, but I've made it in practice a bunch. It's what I've worked for all season.
Okay.
So I just went out there and put it through.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. I saw Coach Guswich on the sideline because, again, as you mentioned, he hasn't, and we'll talk to him a little bit about this, his philosophy. He hasn't kicked a lot of field goals this year. And even in past years, we usually, if it's fourth and manageable, we'll go for it more often than not. But he called your number, and you came through, and the Pirates win 3-0. But I saw him talking to Coach Perry, so I know he was thinking about it. But the Struthers defense had really stepped up even early in the game to sort of force that decision. So what do you think your max, not that we want to give Streetsboro any type of intel here, but what do you think your max, what do you feel most comfortable with from a distance standpoint, field goal wise?
Probably about 40 yards out.
Okay. So if we get down to the 20-yard line, that's a 37-yard field goal. You're comfortable with that range?
Yeah, I think I'm 100% in that range.
Okay, good.
As you're leading up to that kick, at what point did Coach Perry come to say, hey, if we get to fourth down here, Coach is calling your number?
They didn't. It's
just here it is,
go out and kick it.
So now as you're going out there, what are you thinking about? Like, do you go through a routine? Are you thinking about something before each kick?
Not really. I just try to get my steps right and just do what I always do and put it through.
And how are you on extra points this year? Have you missed any extra points?
I believe I missed 3.
3, okay. But we've scored a lot of points.
Yeah.
So that's not, 3 might sound like a lot, but it might be 3 out of 40 or something
About
like
70.
that. So 70.
About.
Double the amount. I should probably know that. So 3 out of 70 is pretty darn good. That's an A in any class. So how about the routine you go through? I mean, I saw you on the sideline. You're just trying to keep warm, or are you trying to, again, your steps or things like that? I see you kicking in the net quite a bit.
Yeah, just try to stay loose and warm so I'm ready for surprising moments like that.
Right. How about the relationship between your holder and your snapper and you. Obviously, if you watch any amount of football, whether it's college or NFL, those guys are in sync a lot. Let's talk about a little bit about your snapper and your holder.
I think Chris and Justin have done a great job this season. They haven't messed up at all. Just perfect, and
Okay.
yeah.
Good.
Now, if we learned anything from Ace Ventura, maybe you're too young for that. You know Lace is out. Is there a way that you like Justin to hold the ball, or as long as you go through your certain steps, your routine, you feel fine kicking?
As long as it's down, upright, I'm good.
And now, obviously, you're a soccer player as well, so how does soccer help you in this and vice versa? Is it similarities kicking a soccer ball to a football?
A little bit. It's a bit different, though. I think definitely a little bit harder.
To kick a football?
Yeah.
And how did it work for you being a two-sport athlete? All right, you play soccer, as Gene mentioned. So you're at your soccer, practice every day. You have matches. Obviously, we're not playing soccer matches typically on a Friday night. How did you split your time? Did it work out? Is it crazy busy for you? How did that relationship work between the two sports?
It wasn't too bad because I only really had football 2 days a week, and
Okay.
I'm not there that long, so pretty manageable.
And how was your first full soccer season, being a freshman this year? How was it? I know there were, it started off a little slow. You guys, it seemed like you had win streaks, losing streaks, and back and forth all year where you didn't kind of really get in a groove until the end of the year.
Yeah, it wasn't how I wanted the season to go, but I think we're going to be a lot better next year.
Yeah, we're young, and you guys will be back and better than ever here, coming for the fall of 25 season. So I know Coach Tanish, we've had her on the show. She's looking forward to having the main crew, back for next year. So looking for great things. Colt, you get your DQ certificate here, free meal deal and a Blizzard. So thank you to DQ for all that they do on sponsoring our podcast and our Athletes of the Week. So enjoy that. Go to some food down at DQ. Some questions before you go, just some off-the-wall questions, maybe get to know you a little bit better, and answer these however you want. We've heard a lot of different answers this year, all good. Favorite food?
Probably ice cream.
Ice cream, all right. Any particular ice cream spot that you like to hit?
King Cone's pretty good.
Okay, yeah, definitely. They've been at a couple of our games this year, and the truck's always busy down when they bring the King Cone truck. So, favorite subject in school?
I guess
Your
math.
dad's class?
Math, maybe.
Math, okay.
This is the easiest.
Math, okay, that makes sense. Is your dad's class harder than math?
No, but
Okay.
that's not really a class.
That's true. Well, don't tell him that. No, Coach Christner does a great job. For those of you who don't know, we offer our strength and fitness class as our PE classes now. So we're no longer doing, badminton and wiffle ball and dodgeball in PE. It's been many years. This is year 6, 7, or 8, something like that. I've lost track. And it's been a huge help to all of our sports teams, and not just a football class. It's not any certain sport class. Male, female, it doesn't matter the sport either. And he's in there working hard with those guys, trying to get them better and ready for their sport. So we certainly encourage. Can't make it mandatory, but we encourage our athletes to take that class. It's a nice setup. Any hobbies outside of soccer or football, outside of sports?
I like to hang out with friends a little bit.
Okay.
Play on my computer.
Good.
That's about it.
Okay. Now, if you could visit any place in the world, money's not an object, where would you head to, do you think?
I think take a trip around Europe. I think
Europe
that'd
would be,
cool.
yeah. Good. Okay. All right, Colt. Thanks for joining us. Congrats on the game winner. Hopefully we get to see some more field goal attempts here in the coming weeks. Good luck on Friday.
All right, thanks.
Thank you, Colt. All right. Yeah, it was a huge kick. You can just exit right around Mr. Kellogg there. Huge kick for Colt and our team. Obviously, last week got us the W.
Yeah, and as all year seeing how explosive the offense has been, you think, well, 3 points early, first quarter, okay, offense is going to come around, or defense might get a pick six or something along the lines to get a couple more points here. But the way that the game was going back and forth was just phenomenal to get on the board first and then just hold on the rest of the way.
Yeah, Coach Nzwicki and our entire defense get kudos for just bringing it last week. And again, not the prettiest win that we've ever had, but you know, in the postseason, sometimes that's the way it goes. And our defense stepped up. They knew they couldn't let them score, and they just made the decision not to let them score. So we'll keep with the football theme here. We'll bring up Vince Tomasic. He is a starting cornerback for us, plays some wide receiver as well. Welcome, Vince. Here's your certificate to DQ. Coach Christinger will probably tell you to wait till after the game to eat that. All right, no blizzards the day before the game. But, hey, congratulations on a great senior year so far. Coach Niedzwiecki said some glorious things about you when I was asking for, all right, who should our players of the week be? And his comment to me is that you're long overdue to sit in this chair because you are a shutdown corner. You take away their best option wide receiver-wise week in and week out, and it lets our defense, if you see last week, we stacked the box a lot, right? We had 7 guys around the line of scrimmage the entire game, and we couldn't do that if you weren't that shutdown corner. If you didn't take away their best passing threat, we'd be in a little bit more of a bind there. And I know that's going to be your job on Friday against Streetsboro. But just talk a little bit about that, I guess. High praise from Coach Niedzwiecki on what you bring to the table for our defense. And so while you may not get thrown on a lot, you may not have all of these stats, 1,000 pass breakups or 10 interceptions or anything like that, people are avoiding you for a reason.
Yeah, it really started my sophomore year because I got the starting job as corner.
Yep.
And that helped a lot because I got a lot of experience, and I think that's just the main thing that you need, really. Because, after that 1 year, I was used to it. So, I had a little bit of a better last year stat-wise because obviously nobody was really, looking at me.
Yeah.
I wasn't, a known person. And, obviously this year people are watching a little bit of film.
Yep.
They see me.
Yep. Well, I know it's been a huge help. Our defense has given up, I don't know off the top of my head, points per game. And sometimes, our younger guys are playing in there and all that kind of thing. Anyway, so it's hard to tell. But my guess is our starting defense has given up less than a touchdown per game. And again, you're a big reason for that, playing that shutdown position. Going against our offense in practice, you've got Walter, you've got Luke, and you're playing some offense too. How does that help you get ready for a Friday night?
Yeah, it helps a lot, especially guarding Luke. He's faster than anybody we're going to see anywhere in the state.
Yeah.
But even guarding the scout guys like Greg and some faster guys, sometimes they're better than the people we play in games. So yeah. We're well prepared.
That's usually a common theme we hear when we have the football players about how the scout team is sometimes better than the opponent that you see that given week. But for you defensively, a lot of the focus of Perry is offensively, and rightfully so, because put up 40 points a game. But when you're a defense giving up less than 10, maybe 7 a game, was this the kind of game you guys needed to maybe get on the radar of, hey, we're not just an offensive team, we play defense as well?
Yeah, for sure. And I know last year we were kind of on that radar because I think we gave up 20 total points all year, starters in. But yeah, no, definitely put the word out there for people. Obviously, we know we should have scored more. We had a lot of opportunities, but it happens. It happens to every team.
Defensively, do you guys feel a little bit of that pressure? As that game's getting late against Struthers, knowing that, hey, it's 3-0, they're going to get their possessions. Our offense has been there, but we just can't punch it in. Do you guys feel that pressure? Or do you kind of feed off that, knowing we have to go and get that stop to keep this a 3-0 game?
Oh yeah, that's what I was saying the whole game on the sidelines. I just told everybody we had to stop them because their defense was tough and our offense wasn't moving well. But we knew we had to stop them. We knew we could get the job done.
Well, I think that's one of your strengths as well. You're definitely a leader. We have 14 seniors, but you're a vocal player. You're out there. You're encouraging. You're always positive. You're telling people what needs to be done, and I think that's what we need out of leaders in general, but especially when it comes to seniors. The younger players are going to listen to you, and we do have some younger kids on the field defensively. So I think keep that up. I think you do a great job on the defensive side of the ball, and I know we're probably looking for the same thing on Friday. What do you know about Streetsboro? Let's talk about them a little bit.
Yeah, they look big like they were last week.
Yeah.
But we prepare on film every day of the week, so we're watching them all the time. They're big, they're pretty fast, but we know we can stop them.
Okay. 80% run, something
Oh yeah,
like
yeah.
that?
80, I think it was 88% run.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Well, I
similar
know-
to last week.
Yeah, Coach Nizwicki is a animal in the film room, and I know you guys meet on Sunday evenings and go over film, and then he expects you guys to watch and really be prepared. And I think that goes for our entire program, our entire team. I think we're always prepared when it comes to kickoff on Friday night. We are ready to go, and I know it's an exciting time. So, anything else?
Yeah, I mean, being one of the 14 seniors, obviously you've played with a lot of these guys for a long time. What has it been like this year, knowing that this is the last time the 14 of you, this group will be together?
Yeah, we felt that a lot last game. We were a little bit nervous, so that just when it comes in the back of your mind, like, well, this could really be our last game with each other after playing for 10 years. It's a pretty big deal, So it motivates us, to keep going and just play our best.
And I'm sure we'll have you back in the winter, but you also
Right.
play basketball for Coach Iso. How does basketball maybe help you as a defensive back?
Oh, it helps a lot, just especially defense, moving around, just staying active during the winter. And it's a lot of like lateral movement. So I feel like basketball is probably the best thing you can get for a defensive back,
And we talked a little bit about that Coach Christinger, PE class, which again is our strength and fitness and strength and conditioning class. How has that helped you? Because I'll tell the Vince Tomasic story that I sort of raved about for the longest time. Like we ended, so it would have been after your sophomore year, you played a little bit of varsity, the JV, and then like I saw you, so that's March, right? And then like June, July, at Summer League, I see you dunking the basketball. Like out of nowhere, which you weren't doing in January, February, March. So, you're getting older, you're getting, your body's developing. But, I mean, how did that transition happen? Because that was an impressive thing. Like you weren't just barely dunking the ball. You're putting it down with two hands with some authority. And just the athletic ability, I was wowed by that.
Yeah, Kirshner, obviously, he helps a lot with that. Obviously, we do a lot in his class, but he also tells me things to do that I can do on my own that isn't really going to tire me out for, my sport. But
Yeah.
he helps a lot in the class, but also out of the class because we can't – if you just do what he has us to do in his class, you're only going to get to, a certain level. But as he gives us, like, workouts to do on our own, that's when you hit the next step.
All right. Well, it was impressive. Best of luck the rest of this year. Continue to be that stalwart, shut down corner that lets our defense be really, really aggressive, put as many guys in the box as we can, and good luck on Friday.
Thank you.
Thanks, Vance. Thanks for
having
joining
me.
us.
Yep.
All right. We'll keep the football theme going here with Coach Gusowich. We'll bring him up, so I know he's got to get back to his responsibilities at the middle school as well. Coach, how was practice this week? Obviously, a 3-0 win. We've talked about it a little bit already. Probably not what anybody really expected, but a win is a win. You survive and advance. We're playing in the regional semis again for the fourth time in your 4-year coaching history here.
Yeah, the 3-0 win, there are some opportunities that we left out there. I think the best part for us, and that could possibly be the best thing that happened to us this season, is we didn't get burned by the fire, but we got singed.
Yeah.
And there are some things that our kids knew that we didn't do well in practice, and I think that we changed that this week. So I think we'll actually give our best shot, our best opportunity to Streetsboro on Friday.
Excellent. And, Streetsboro undefeated right now. So it's going to be a clash over at Berkshire on Friday night. But how was practice been this week? You said it's a little bit better than the previous.
Yeah,
opinion?
I think practice has been locked in, no going through the motions. I think guys have put in the effort, and Streetsboro presents some unique difficulties and some unique preparation. So our defense was locked in as usual and has adapted well to the adjustments that they need to make. So, I mean, it's week 13. We're just excited to still be playing. And like I said, we had a good week of practice so far, put one more on it, and then we'll put our best out there and compete.
It being a 3-0 game, how does that change? Obviously, you've played in close games. A lot of the games here at Perry have been, in blowout fashion. So when you get into a tight game like that, how does your mindset change? How does your coaching philosophy change?
I don't think it really does. The only thing that changes is, when you're in one of those lopsided games, now you're trying to get younger guys in and get those guys reps. And one of the concerns, that you hear other people say is our kids need to learn how to play 4 quarters. They need to be in shape. They need to do whatever. Well, our kids practice nonstop. Our roster's not very big. So when Vince comes off the field on defense, there are times he has to fill in on scout offense. So they're getting more running in and more conditioning in a random Tuesday practice than they would if they played all 4 quarters on a Friday night. As far as, here's the score, here's whatever, yeah, you probably have to make a couple more adjustments than you do in one of those lopsided wins. But those are the kind of games that we need to develop and find in the regular season so that we're more prepared for them in the postseason.
And for you, and we touched on it a little bit with Vince, your defense has been phenomenal the whole time you've been here, and especially this year as well. Your offense is so explosive that maybe the defense gets overlooked. Just how proud of you are of that defensive unit?
Well, I think every game we talk about the defense. It's like I'm an offensive coach, but we give priority to the defense. We give priority time. We give priority players to them. If there's a kid that's playing both ways, I tell them, you take your breaks on offense. And that's what you do, because I do think, especially in a state like Ohio where the weather doesn't get great at the end of the season, that's where you're going to win the ball game at. Coach Ryan and Coach Janelle are never shy about their opinions on anything and given time. And Coach Ryan told me the other day, they can't win if they can't score. And he's absolutely right. But I also think our defensive staff does an amazing job, and those kids buy in. I was a little skeptical at first about the Sunday night meetings, and our kids can show up, and they've been there every day for 4 years. So it's worked out great, and they've really bought in. They have ownership of it.
Coach Ryan was making that call. I was on the sidelines with him on Friday night. From the time we kicked the field goal, and you could sort of see how the game was going to go a little bit. It was going to be a defensive. Their defense was very good. Ours is as well. And he's like, hey, just don't let them score, and we'll be fine. And I don't think any of us, with 8 minutes to go in the first quarter, ever thought that would happen. But there you go. He was saying it at the last drive of the game too, in the fourth quarter when we needed to get a stop. He's like, I've said it all game. Let's just do it again. So Gene did some research here. This is pretty interesting. Since 1999, 3 3-point games, all losses for the Pirates in 2011, 2006, and 2001. So now we won that. We're 3-0 score, and we're on to Streetsboro. Coach, best of luck to you here on Friday night, and we'll keep everybody. Obviously, the game will be streamed on CBC TV. But we really encourage everybody to come out to the game. Let's talk a little bit about our fan base. And obviously last year was a great experience with them, our entire postseason run. But how can they help us on Friday?
I just think that one of the major things with football, and I wish that we could find a way to have this parlay into our winter sports and some of our non-traditional big 3 sports, is the atmosphere and the community atmosphere to it. And it helps, right, because you start off the season and it's nice weather, so it's an easy thing to do. Everyone's a little excited. But even as the weather turns, our student section's done a really good job of traveling. I think one of the more important things to find is a good student section leader. Someone that all the other kids want to be around. Hey, this is what we want to do. I remember listening to a curmudgeon and be like, why is there got to be a theme for every game? Why does it matter?
Right.
If people want to theme up, awesome. Go theme. Neon night it out. Do whatever it is that you want to do.
Right.
Because it's about fun. And it's a part of the high school experience that I think is really important. And it was one of the draws to coming to a smaller school is you have the ability to build that and capture that and keep that going. So it's awesome for us. I was really disappointed with the weather in the Kirtland game because I thought that was going to be an atmosphere that our kids probably would never have an opportunity to play in the future. And it didn't really have anything to do with the gameplay. That's what it had to do with is the experience part of it. That's why playing in Canton was so cool. How often are you going to play in a pro stadium? So it was pretty awesome. But the student section's been great, and hopefully we keep them out. I remember when we went to go buy black uniforms, people were talking about the backlash, and I said, well, if they didn't travel to the West Branch game, they don't get a say because we didn't have many people there.
I think that's what we made our decision on. It was like, we didn't at that time. That was your first year.
Yeah. And now it's kind of reversed, and we have a strong group of people that show up to every game. So
we do. So we encourage everybody in our community to come on out. It's a 35-minute drive down to Burton. and won't be long. Weather's supposed to be good in the mid to upper 40s, low 50s, no rain. So hopefully our community shows up. I know our kids will show up. We have about 75-ish
That's awesome.
signed up for the Spirit buses. So, you know, and a thank you to our booster club for helping out there. I think the OHSA has done a good job with ticket prices. They're only $5 for kids. But then our boosters really stepped up, and they know how important it is because of what we've talked about with them, trying to get as many kids there. Even $5, you know, will it keep a kid from coming to a game a half an hour away? Hopefully not, but the boosters are going to provide the bus and the ticket for anybody who's riding. So I know, and it's Christmas theme this year, just this week. So
There
just
we
so you
go.
know, we'll be dressed in some red and green. So, well, best of luck against Streetsboro on Friday
Awesome.
night. We wish you guys the best, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach. All right, Coach Gusowich, as the Pirates will take on the Streetsboro Rockets here Friday, 7 p.m. kick from Great Lakes Cheese Stadium.
And I know we've talked about it a couple times, but as you know, Perry keeps winning, the Division IV championship game would then take place on Saturday, December 7th, which is the last game of the night at 7:30. So through all 7 divisions, they're the last game on that Saturday night. And again, you win this week, and you get the winner of Lake Catholic and Glenville, who are playing just over in Riverside. this
Yeah,
weekend.
right down the street in Riverside, and you know that's going to be a great game too. I mean, obviously you got 11-1 Perry, 12-0 Streetsboro. Glenville has, I think, 3 or 4 losses, but their schedule is a gauntlet, and they play some really high level competition. A lot of D1 teams, an Avon Division II team that's ranked in the top 3 in the state. So they're going to give Lake all they can handle, and I'm sure Lake will do the same. It'll be very interesting to see if we can get by the Rockets, who we play, where we play. All of those things get a little more interesting with a win for us on Friday night.
And before we wrap up the football part of it, the Northeast Lake District football teams were announced this week. Walter Moses was the offensive player of the week. Number of guys offensively, defensively. Vince was one of the guys that made first team on defense.
Yeah, and again, it's just a shout out to those guys that I know they're happy about those awards. But we had Walter on earlier this year, and he's breaking records and school records and all these things. And I thought he put it very well. It's more of a team award, because he's got to throw the ball, somebody's got to catch it. He's got to have time to throw the ball, somebody's got to block for him. And I think all those guys to a man will say, hey, Andrew Smith, Trent Taylor, Owen McCoon, Armani Chaponi, and Vince as first-team defense. Like, we're a unit, and we do it together, and we've got this recognition. But, we're focused as 11 hats on the ball type of attitude, and it really it breeds some great things for us defensively. And then with offense, Walter, Offensive Player of the Year, not a shock there. Luke Savon, Chuck Thomas, and Anthony Zagraki. So again, Walter is the player of the year, but Chuck and Anthony are blocking for him, and Luke's catching a lot of his passes. He wouldn't be there without them. And so it's great recognition for our kids individually, but I know they're more focused on Streetsboro and just getting on to that next level and hopefully playing in a regional final a week from Friday.
Yeah, but as you mentioned, only 35 minutes away, so make sure you get out on Friday, support the football team up at Brookshire, and it should be another fantastic game. And as you mentioned, the weather is going to be nice enough to get out there and support the team.
And speaking of supporting the team, let's bring up Marley Freeman. Marley is one of our cheerleaders here at Perry High School. And, so that's sort of an unsung heroes. They're on the sidelines. They're cheering the team on. I'm seeing you guys flip all over the place and stunt and all kinds of crazy stuff. It's awesome. Well, welcome to the show, Marley. Welcome to the podcast. Give you your certificate there for your DQ meal. And Blizzard, let's just talk about a little bit about the experience, and then we'll sort of delve into some of the things. You guys competed at the end of the year at the CVC Showcase and things like that. But what is it? What's your favorite part of cheering on a Friday night?
Honestly, just like beforehand and just being with my friends. It's so much fun. Yeah.
And for you, obviously, when did cheerleading become a thing for you? Was it, down at the youth level? Was it middle school?
I did do it at the youth level, and then I didn't do it during middle school, and then I joined again my sophomore year. So
you took a little time off and came back to it.
Yeah,
All right.
I love it, though.
Well, I see all the little girls when we have our media day. There's like 70 little girls out there in kindergarten through 4th or 5th grade. It's pretty impressive number. of little kids out there. And I know for basketball, we have always done a little youth clinic as well. So they're going to do that and this January, and then they'll cheer at halftime. And we had them out for a football game as well. So on youth night, we had, how is that, being around all the little kids and seeing their faces and probably big eyes, you know, staring up at the crowd on a Friday night. How is that fun for you guys?
Oh, it's great because it's just like we're like inspiring them, and yeah, it's honestly, and like they're always like, oh my gosh, like she did a flip, and it's just so cute. Like, yeah, I love it.
And how did the stunting come along? I know, so we went back and forth. We'll have Mrs. Allen up here in a little bit, and she was part of these conversations at the league level, Chagrin Valley Conference. Finally, we had to come out and put a rule in place to say that you can stunt, because there's all kinds of, coaches were saying we can't stunt, or some saying that you can. How did our stunting come along that you guys said, hey, this is something we want to do?
Like how to wait, what do you mean?
Yeah, just like we haven't done it for all that long.
Yeah.
So it's only been a couple of years. So was it you guys as the cheerleaders going to her, to Coach Horsfall, and saying like, hey, we want to do this. We're good enough to do this. Can we get this into our routine?
Yeah,
in any way, shape,
it's
or form?
definitely that. We always see like videos on different stunts that we want to try, and we're always like, oh, like we know we can do this, and yeah, we always try it, and it ends up going well for the most part.
No, knock on wood,
yeah.
nothing, nobody's on the ground or anything like that. And I see you guys flipping around in the air in the pyramids and the triangles.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome. I give you guys a lot of credit. And we've always tried to say this to as many people who will listen. Like, you guys are athletes. We're going to talk about your other sport here in a minute with gymnastics, but cheerleaders are not the cheerleaders of 70s, 80s, 30, 40 years ago, where you're just showing up on a Friday night with your pom-poms. Like, you guys are practicing multiple days a week. Again, now we're to the point where we're stunting. A lot of you guys are athletes in other, Addie's a track, you're a gymnast. There's other things in play, and you guys are taking the Coach Christinger class and doing that type of thing. I'm like, what's your mindset as a cheerleader from that perspective, in terms of like, all right, yeah, we are athletes. We're not just out here, to rah-rah. We're athletes as well.
Yeah, well, I definitely think it's helped me in like gymnastics too with my jumps.
Yeah.
And everything like that. Like, I've noticed a huge difference in how it's made me better. So I would have to say like it helps other sports for sure.
And Mr. Rockwell is alluding to it. It's not just show up Friday, but you guys are probably practicing Monday through Friday, or Monday through Thursday with a game on Friday. So how does that dynamic work? I mean, you guys show up. Is it hour and a half, 2 hours? Is it, obviously you're trying to put in new routines, so that way you have 10, 12, 15 weeks that you want to have maybe something different every week.
Yeah, it's like 2-hour practices usually, and we like stretch, go over jumps, do stunts, and then usually we go over like our quarter cheers. But then with Showcase, we had to work on our dance and stuff. So there was that we had to work on too during practice.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about that Showcase. And I love that the Chagrin Valley Conference does this on an annual basis. We probably should look to do it again, maybe in the wintertime, because I know not everybody does football and basketball. But the CVC does a great job. On the last Sunday in October, we bring all the schools together. This year it was at Orange, and they, it's not a competition. There's no judges or anything like that, even though I was told we were the best ones there.
Yeah.
So I'm a little biased, but I would believe that, certainly. So we bring all 25 schools in. Everybody does the routine. You mentioned your dance and the cheer. How was that experience? Is that something you guys look forward to? Tell us a little bit about that Showcase.
Oh, it's great because honestly, all the teams there are like really positive, and we're always like cheering each other on, and you can like meet new people too. Yeah, it's really fun. And like beforehand, we like had like a breakfast or whatever, and yeah, it's like a whole day with your friends. It's really fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And the other day, you were selected to attend the speaking of the Chagrin Valley Conference, our leadership symposium out at Beechwood. It was last Friday. It took a group. We always bring our juniors. We feel like our juniors are, even though it's only November and you've still got another 6 or 7 months before you're technically a senior, we want to get you ready for next year. So talk a little bit about that. Was that a fun day? We've got a speaker that came in. Talk a little bit about that experience.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was really cool that I got picked for that as well. I thought it was good too. Like, I did learn a lot. It was nice to meet like the people there that I worked with.
Yeah.
We all talked a lot and got to just learn how to.
Yeah. So
be
how's
good
that
leader.
it's just a little weird at the beginning? Like we have 8 kids from Perry. We have 8 kids from all the other 24 schools. So there's 200 plus kids in the gym, and you're not with any Perry kids. They
Yeah.
put you with different people all the time, and just that little maybe awkward at the beginning, but like you said, then it became a lot of fun and very interactive.
Yeah, I got to like learn what sports they all did and how they're involved at their school, and it was just cool to meet people
That's
like
awesome.
that.
Again, kudos to the Chagrin Valley Conference for putting on an event like that, and thanks to Beechwood for hosting it. Let's move into the gymnastics realm a little bit. You mentioned other sports that, your cheer will help, and I think cheer to gymnastics transitions obviously very well.
Yeah.
What are you looking for out of this upcoming gymnastics season, and when will that start for you? Are you doing a little bit of training now? How does it work with cheer?
So our first mandatory practice just was on Sunday.
Okay.
And our first meet is in December, but yeah, basically, I am really excited this season because we have a team.
Yes.
So there's 4 girls, and I'm also doing it with my sister again,
Yeah.
so it'll be fun. Yeah.
That's awesome. And yeah, so we have 4. We have 2 Freemans, but we have a team of 4.
Yes.
And, that's been our goal for several years. And throughout my tenure here, 14, 15 years in Perry, we've had teams probably only once or twice. So I'm glad we're able to get back and actually have a team where you guys will be able to compete as Perry Pirates as a team and be scored and recognized that way. So I'm looking forward to coming out to a couple of meets this winter.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
All
And
right.
now with gymnastics, obviously you're not practicing here, so take us through that. Where do you have to go to?
Yeah.
How's that dynamic
Okay,
work?
so we practice 3 days a week. It's like 4 hours around each day, and we practice at Lake Erie's Gymnastics.
Which is in Mentor, right?
Yes, it's in
Okay,
Mentor. Usually, it doesn't become mandatory until like November, but it's practice all year round. So like I go all year round, get upgrades, and
Yeah.
so I can get ready for the season.
Do you guys practice with other schools at the same time? Like, so
Yeah.
that way you have that relationship, or maybe being able to, maybe gauge where you're at watching other
Yeah, we
gymnasts?
practice with Menor and Riverside, and Madison also has a team now. So, it's really fun because they're like my best friends. So yeah.
That's awesome. And then you get to sort of compete with them, especially at our home meets. I know those schools will compete as well that day. We'll bring in other schools from Northeast Ohio to compete. They're really fun events. And then postseason, you sort of got that, even though they're from other schools, you have that team perspective. We're competing for Perry, but like you said, they're all your friends, and you're rooting them on, and they're rooting you on, and all that kind of stuff. So what are your goals for the season? What do you look at? Anything specific to accomplish?
I'm hoping I can make it to states on beam this year. I've gotten close the last 2 years, and I've been working on it. So
On
I
the
think
beam.
I'll.
All right. Well, we'll keep an eye out for Marley Freeman on the beam this winter. Until then, we'll see you Friday night over at Berkshire for our football game. Congratulations on being our student athlete
you.
of the week, and best of luck to you the rest of cheer and into gymnastics.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in, Marley. Appreciate it. All right, Marley Freeman, junior cheerleader and gymnast here for Perry. She's also on the track team, so she's a 3-sport athlete for us, and that's certainly. I said it last night at our Fall Sports Awards that we love our 3-sport athletes. We need our 3-sport athletes to survive. We don't have 1,000 kids per class or anything like that. So we know sometimes kids need to specialize and they may only do one sport, and that's okay. But we love our dual sport athletes, don't we, Mrs.
Yes,
Allen?
we do.
Yes, we do. All right, middle school minute. Never turns into a minute, but
No.
that's just a name and sort of joking around. But Mindy Allen, our middle school athletic director, assistant AD here at Perry. Welcome in.
Thanks.
As always, what do we got on the agenda today?
Well, today's a big day. We're opening up our middle school basketball season with Berkshire coming to us for our 7th and 8th grade girls. Our numbers are low. We have 5 7th graders.
Wow.
So those girls are going to get a lot of work in today.
No subs.
No subs. So they're definitely going to be getting better as the season progresses. So we're looking forward to that. We're actually so excited about it that our varsity and JV girls basketball team, we're finishing practice at 4:30 today, and we're walking down, and we're going to be the student section to welcome these girls to Perry girls basketball.
That's
so we're
awesome.
looking forward to
Great
it.
start to the year, and
Yes.
you're seeing more and more basketball on TV. Obviously, Gene with the Cavs and the college, but I watched Duke and Kentucky the other night.
Yeah.
Michigan State and Kansas. It's just that time of year.
Well,
it's time
yeah.
to get basketball rolling. So I'm
And we
excited
should be
for our
getting
girls.
more interest in girls basketball with
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark, and
Yeah.
she is transforming the world of girls basketball
Oh, for
and
sure.
showing that, the level that you can compete at, and how you can really bring another level to that. So, hopefully, more girls will start watching that, and we'll get bigger numbers.
Right.
So.
How do our 8th grade numbers on the girls?
We have 8 girls. 8 girls. So
of
numbers,
subs.
yeah,
Couple
numbers
of-
are small.
couple of
but
breathers
We're gonna.
during the
But
game.
I talked to the coaches and I asked them. I said, "Okay, do you want one team?" They said, "No, we're good. We're gonna run with what we've got." So hopefully everybody stays healthy and injury free,
Right.
so we can keep it running as 2 teams all year.
And our numbers are up on the you coach our
Yes.
JV girls basketball here at the high school, so our numbers are up there.
I am
as well.
so excited.
Good.
We have 17 girls. So I'm actually last year our numbers were really low. So we actually have a full JV squad, and I'm super excited because we have 7 freshmen. So this is my 3rd year helping Coach Infalvi out and Coach Austin, and so this is the largest group of freshmen, and I am just super excited. They all want to be here. They're all so coachable. They're all working hard, and from open gyms that I was able to go to in October to now, there is just so much growth. So I just can't even imagine what we're going to see come February with these freshmen.
And you've already had 3 scrimmages in on the
Yes.
basketball side, so how is that?
Yeah, okay, so I don't know if this is a good thing to say or not, but the girls were
Find out.
really nervous going into that first scrimmage, and I could see it at practice. I said, "Hey, girls, don't worry about it. We all make mistakes. It's a scrimmage. We will be fine. I don't want you to stress out." I said, "Trust me, even I get stressed. The last 2 years, I sit and I put my head in my hands. I'm like, oh my gosh, I am a horrible coach." So I said, but we get better. And the girls they looked at each other when the freshmen were like, "Okay, girls, our goal is to make sure that Coach Mindy doesn't leave feeling like a loser tomorrow." And I felt like they played so well. So honestly, they have not only competed, but they've competed against sophomores and juniors at a level where, they're actually outscoring them. They're playing great defense. So I am just super excited.
That's awesome.
And that's the experience they don't realize yet that is going to benefit them next year and
Correct.
when they become eventually seniors.
Right. Yeah. So we're looking forward, and hopefully, I can do my job and keep them engaged because I love the sport. I want them to love it and keep coming back.
That's awesome. That's what it's that building block from middle school all the way, freshman, JV, and then varsity. And so it's sort of a well-oiled machine, that the kids are ready to go when they're called upon, whether they're freshmen, sophomore, junior, senior, they're ready to play varsity
Right.
sport, X sport, whatever the sport is. That's sort of our philosophy and just trying to get them ready to go.
And I credit our numbers, and I actually told Coach Carilla to the
Yes.
relationship.
Yeah.
We are so fortunate to have Coach Carilla at
Yeah.
the middle school. She played at Youngstown State.
Yep.
She's young. She's hard and tough on the girls, but she connects with them, and they respect her. And I really believe that's why we have 7 girls out
Oh.
for freshman basketball.
For sure, and she's been a huge positive influence since she started with us.
Yes, she
And you
has.
could tell right away, right from the get-go with Coach Carilla that she was amped up and ready to go. And
Yes.
she's done a great job.
Yeah.
Does a great job building relationships and all of those things.
Yeah.
So exciting middle school girls basketball today,
Yeah.
Thursday,
And
the 14th, first game of the year.
Yeah, and then
All right.
tomorrow we're super excited. Wrestling's kicking off with our new coaching staff.
Yep.
So we're pretty excited. We're going to have Coach Calvin Rowan, Coach Josh Rogers, and new also is Coach Teresa Dominish, who will be in charge of the girls wrestling. We're looking forward to that. This 8th grade group of athletes across the board's a special group. They come out in big numbers for us in a lot of the sports, and they're just a good group of kids. They're the reason why we're promoting student sections, and I've rearranged schedules to promote that, just like our cheerleaders this year for middle school is going to do what our high school cheerleaders do, and they're going to come to 2 of our girls' basketball games, and we're going to really try to push getting a big student body there. So these 8th grade wrestlers, we're really excited about them taking that leadership role with our middle school program. The coaching staff is excited, and they start tomorrow. And so we're looking forward to the experience that the 7th graders are going to bring from the youth program up. And our wrestling program's super excited because with the help of Mr. Rockwell, Coach Rockwell, we have a new, freshly renovated wrestling room that they are now coming into. So
Yeah, and Mr. Smith, our maintenance director, he and I work closely on that project. Coach Trentinelli, Coach Rowan, certainly when Coach Rowan was here last year, had some input on what we needed to do. A lot of that equipment, the mats in there, believe it or not, like 30 years old, because that's just where our school opened in the fall of '93, and that's just where we're at. A lot of things, they just need to be updated and replaced, and at some point, things need to be redone and updated. And so, yeah, it's a perfect room. We have 3 full-size mats in there now. We've got new wall padding. It's just got a different look, a different feel to it, and I'm excited for our kids who get to experience it and wrestle in it every day. And I've already seen, people in and out of there as we get ready for tomorrow, Friday, November 15th, the OHSA first official day of practice for wrestling. So I know they're chomping at the bit.
yeah, they are. I stopped in there last night with the youth kids, and everybody's really excited. The wrestling program, I reached out to them to ask them for some information for the podcast today, and they said, it really takes a village to run the wrestling program, to get the volunteers to help run the meets, to run concessions, the hospitality rooms, and all that from the middle and high school. So they're going to have their first parent meeting on Monday, December 3rd via Google Meets. All that information will be sent out on final forms and also via the Remind app. But, I mean, even like getting that wrestling room together, that wasn't just our maintenance and custodians. That took our wrestling families that helped to make every part of that.
Yep, we had people in there scraping the walls and prepping and helping out as we transitioned from the old mats and the old room, the old padding to the new stuff. They really stepped up and people really helped out. So it's like I said, it's a great thing for our kids and our wrestling program. Very excited about it.
And I think these things, even along to just kind of piggyback on what Coach Gelswich said, between the wrestling room, between like some of these other things we're doing, the student section, this is where people really need to see the value of our school athletics, because it really weaves into the community and brings that community together. It really defines our Perry community.
It's certainly not the most important thing in a high school. We know what we're here to do first and foremost is to be educated, and we're student athletes, and that's why student is first. But it's oftentimes the most visible part of a school. And not just at Perry. We were at the state AD conference earlier this week, and that was a common theme. Like it's potentially the most visible thing that people will see. So you better be on top of your stuff. Because you got the community sometimes sort of lives and breathes through that. And even though, again, not the most important thing that we do here on a daily basis, but in our community especially, it's an important piece. And we live in Northeast Ohio, overall is really a hotbed for, we've got a lot of, we won 6 out of 7 state championships last year in football from Northeast Ohio. So, it's one of those things that it's a lot of fun, but we've got a lot going on right now. It's an exciting time. Well, thanks for joining us again. Mindy is, she does it all for us here. She's not only our middle school AD and assistant AD, let's see, head football coach at the middle school, JV basketball for the girls, spring dual role of JV softball and girls flag football. And she's even riding the Spirit bus.
Yeah,
on Friday because
yeah.
I was short somebody. She's the first one to always volunteer. So we appreciate everything you do.
Yep.
We're looking forward to Friday night out at Berkshire as we take on the Streetsboro Rockets.
Thank you.
Thanks for
You got chants and games ready for the Spirit Bus?
Well, no, this is what I'm telling all the kids. They need to bring a speaker so we can play some pump up music.
Yeah.
I mean, the bus driver may need earplugs, but like last year when we were riding the buses to playoffs for football, I'm on the JV bus, the nice coach bus. I'm like, guys, come on, who's got a speaker? They're like, oh, we're not allowed. I said, next year on my bus, we got speaker. We're celebrating and we're getting everybody hyped.
I love it. That's what I love. All right. Thanks again, Mindy.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Yeah, just like we said, exciting times here, not only in Perry, but as we've still got football playoffs alive, and as we transition to the winter season, it's fun time.
Yeah, and that's the part now where football is the last remaining of the fall sports, and the winter sports, as you mentioned, right around the corner. Already have started practices, games coming up. For girls basketball coming up next weekend, for wrestling and swim coming up, in early December. So it's that exciting transition time where winter's coming, but you're still holding on to that last piece of fall before bundling up and getting into all the holidays coming up.
And we had some exciting, our fall athletes participate in some of the CVC. Another great thing the CVC does with our all-star games for soccer, boys soccer, girls soccer, and volleyball. I know they had a blast Monday and Tuesday. Kirtland hosted both of those events, so they're officially done. We had our fall sports awards last night, and we're almost in that full transition into that winter season.
Yeah, and you had a couple more. Jordan Rowan had all Ohio honors this week in Division 4, so another great accomplishment for her. The GCSSCA all district teams were announced, and Jordan again, along with Andorra and Katie, were named first team for soccer earlier this week.
And Jordan was the player of the year for Division 4 in our district. So some insane number of like 70 some goals this year. She is now our career leader in goals. I think it was 69 she scored this year. Coach Stabar just said it last night, and she has 132 for her career. So she literally, and that's in 3 seasons. She missed her sophomore year with a broken collarbone. So she's off to Kansas. That's something we can highlight. We had our signing, our first signing day of the year yesterday. So congrats to Jordan Rowan. She's going to Kansas to play soccer, continue her soccer career for the Jayhawks. And Owen McCoon signed at University of Louisiana Monroe to play baseball for the Warhawks. So we had the Jayhawks and the Warhawks yesterday. A couple of Pirates signing on to those schools. And again, people get probably tired of, if you come to one of those ceremonies, I say it all the time, less than 5% of all athletes throughout the country play at the next level. And then less than 25% of those 5% actually get money to do it, get scholarship money. So both of those athletes are earning scholarships at those respective schools, and they've done so much for Perry Athletics and their respective teams. They're going to be missed, but we know they're going to do great at the next level.
Yeah, and then obviously the last thing I wanted to bring up before we end this, congratulations to you on receiving the Bruce Brown Award earlier this week down in Columbus, I believe.
Thank you. It's certainly a team award. We're going to put a banner up in the gym, and it says Perry High School on it. It doesn't say TJ Rockwell on it, because that's what it is. It's really a Perry High School Athletic Department award. There's certain benchmarks you have to reach and do certain things and have everything in place, and all of these things that go into this award. And I certainly couldn't do it. We couldn't do it without all of our athletes, our coaches, our support staff. Tony Ovens, she keeps me in line. That's hard to do. Our maintenance staff and our transportation. Like literally, those are all categories within this award. So that's what everybody needs to know. It's certainly a district award, a team award for sure, because we couldn't operate with all of those people that I just mentioned. And I'm very fortunate. We're very fortunate to work with great kids and great staff here at Perry.
So then just a quick recap on everything. So tomorrow, Friday, the boys football out at Brookshire, 7 o'clock kick.
Yep.
Get out there. The Spirit Bus will already signed up, take a good group out there. But again, it's only a 35-minute ride.
Yep.
Get out there, and support the football team.
And it will be streamed. If you absolutely can't make it, we haven't sent that link out yet. We don't like to send it out too early because we want to see what the weather is going to be, and we really want people to come out. So we won't hold it off forever. CBC TV will be doing the game, and those guys do a great job. So we're excited about that. We'll send that link out. But again, the hope is we get out there and want some fans, butts in seats, and ready to make some noise for the Pirates on Friday night.
And it's only one spot for the stream. So when all the spam links come out, it's
don't.
only on
Yeah, you're
the
going to
CBC.
see all those on every social media. It's pretty sad that people have to try to trick people into buying the stream. You will not have to pay a dime to watch the game tomorrow night if that's what you choose to do. CBC TV, there's no fee. So ignore all the other spam stuff that's out there and all these companies saying stream the game here. They're going to try to take your $10, and then you won't be able to watch the game anyway.
You're
So
right.
tune into CBC TV, or better yet, as we've said, come on out to Berkshire.
So we'll have plenty to talk about with the football team
Yes.
coming up next week in Week 14.
Yep.
Girls basketball will start next week as well with their game on Saturday at Gilmore. So we'll have plenty of other items to start talking about and sprinkling in on the next Walk the Plank.
Sounds great. We continue to hope that you'll subscribe and get the podcast every week. To literally tell Alexa, play Walk the Plank, and she will. It's out there if you just hit Walk the Plank Pod. Follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Until next week, go Pirates.